Right now, astronomers are tracking an asteroid with a higher impact probability than any we've seen in the last 20 years, and the odds of it hitting Earth are actually increasing. A huge chunk of space rock somewhere between the size of a football field and the Statue of Liberty is being watched by telescopes around the world. Its name is 2024 YR4, and it's currently sitting at the top of NASA's asteroid risk list. The chances of this asteroid hitting Earth on December 22, 2032? As of right now, it's about 1 in 43. That might not sound like much, but it's enough to make this the most concerning asteroid we've tracked since Apophis back in 2004. And here's what makes this really interesting. Those odds have been going up, not down. But before you start planning for doomsday, stick around, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you why these increasing odds might actually be good news and how humanity has already proven we can defend ourselves against threats like this. Right now, astronomers at observatories across the planet are working together to track this object. Every new observation tells us more about where it's heading, and the story of how we found it and what we're doing about it is one of humanity's greatest ongoing scientific endeavors. On December 27, 2024, astronomers at the Atlas telescope in Chile spotted something unusual: a faint dot of light moving against the background of stars. But this wasn't just any dot. It was about to become one of the most closely watched objects in our solar system. Atlas isn't just one telescope. It's part of a global network of sky watchers, constantly scanning space for anything that might pose a threat to Earth. Think of it as our planet's early warning system. And on that December night, those alarms started ringing. What makes 2024 YR4 special? It's the first asteroid since Apophis to reach a level 3 on the Torino scale. Think of it as the Richter scale, which is a measure of the strength of earthquakes, but for asteroid threats. In 20 years of watching the skies, only 2 asteroids have ever ranked this high. Within weeks of its discovery, observatories around the world were tracking it, and that's when something unusual started happening. The more we watched it, the higher the odds of impact seemed to become. Now, let's talk about these odds. A 2.3% chance of impact might not sound like much, and it isn't. If you had a 97.7% chance of winning the lottery, you'd probably quit your job right now. But when we're talking about an asteroid the size of a football field, even small chances deserve our attention. If, and this is still a big if, 2024 YR4 were to hit Earth, it could strike anywhere along a path that includes the eastern Pacific Ocean, parts of South America, the Atlantic, sections of Africa, and even South Asia. The energy released would be similar to a nuclear explosion. Here's how to understand what's happening with those changing odds. Imagine you're in a dark room with a flashlight. When you first point it at a wall, the beam is wide and fuzzy. That's like our initial understanding of the asteroid's path. We know roughly where it's going, but there's a lot of uncertainty. As we get more observations, it's like focusing that flashlight beam. The light gets more concentrated in a smaller area. If Earth happens to be in that beam, it now takes up more of the possible area, which is why the odds can actually go up before they usually drop to zero. But how do you track something hundreds of feet wide that's millions of miles away? It's like trying to spot a black marble in the dark from the other side of the city. Well, that's where the real heroes of this story come in, the astronomers and their incredible tools. To solve this, we use multiple telescopes around the world, sophisticated radar systems, and powerful computers that can calculate millions of possible orbits. Every new observation helps narrow down where 2024 YR4 will actually be in 2032. The asteroid will be visible until April this year. After that, it becomes too faint to see until 2028. But those few months of observations might be all we need to know for sure whether Earth is in danger or not. But here's the good news. We're not just watching this asteroid. For the first time in human history, we actually have proven technology to defend ourselves against space rocks. In fact, we've already successfully changed an asteroid's path. In 2022, NASA deliberately crashed a spacecraft into an asteroid called Dimorphos at about 14,000 miles per hour. That speed could get you from New York to Los Angeles in about a minute. And guess what? It worked. The collision altered Dimorphos's orbit around its parent asteroid, Didymos, shortening the orbital period by 32 minutes. Right now, both NASA and the European Space Agency are working together on planetary defense. It's like having a global immune system against cosmic threats. And they're not just relying on one method. They're developing multiple ways to protect Earth. Following the DART mission, ESA launched the Hera mission in 2024 to further study the impact site on Dimorphos. Hera aims to gather detailed measurements to enhance our understanding of asteroid deflection techniques. By 2028, 4 years before 2024 YR4's potential arrival, we'll have an even more powerful asteroid hunting telescope in space. Called the NEO Surveyor, it's specifically designed to find and track potentially dangerous asteroids. But there's no need to worry. The world's leading asteroid experts have seen this pattern before. Initial concern, followed by better data, followed by good news. Remember Apophis? When it was first discovered in 2004, astronomers calculated it had a 2.7% chance of hitting Earth, even higher than 2024 YR4's current odds. But as they gathered more data, that threat dropped to zero. The same thing happened with countless other asteroids. Here's what happens next. Astronomers will keep tracking YR4 until April 2025. After this period, the asteroid won't be observable until approximately June 2028. But even though we'll lose sight of it for a while, scientists will be searching through old telescope data from 2016 to find previous images of the asteroid. If they find them, we might know for sure whether it's a threat or not. The story of 2024 YR4 isn't just about one asteroid. It's about humanity's growing ability to protect ourselves from cosmic threats. For the first time in Earth's history, we're not just at the mercy of what falls from the sky. To sum it up, Asteroid 2024 YR4 is the most significant asteroid threat we've seen in 2 decades. Yes, those impact odds are unusually high, but we're not helpless, and those odds are likely to drop to zero.